I want to go over how to set up a door order import and a cabinet order import through the import order file. There's not a lot of information in Mosaic about it, so I just wanted to break down what we did. We send our stuff through an Excel spreadsheet to our clients, and then from there they can type in what they need, and then we get it back and we can import it straight into Mosaic. So and just showing you a basic sample, and we're about to break down how everything goes and how to get to this point from scratch. Um, so the most important thing is you have to make sure your door styles, your profile one, profile two, profile three, and your material, all this information is typed in correctly in the map. And so I'm going to show you how to create the map and create the Excel spreadsheet to be able to do a starting point. So we're going to delete all these doors, and then we're going to go to our Excel spreadsheet. So so I'm going to include this file so you can download it and upload it how you want, um, and modify it. And I'll also include the XML source code for how to group this, but I'm going to explain how you have to get to that point. Um, and one of the ways we use this is if you go to your door order import, we can change, we have it, this is the back side that is not being seen, so we can change our width or height right here for our customer is going to input in their file where they only see a width height in the door. We're working on upgrading that side of things pretty soon, but we also have all ours into drop down menus for us. So our drop down choices is tied into this. So we can set our drop down cost per door, which as we adjust things and what are side profiles, inside profiles, pockets, what type of hinges. So we have all that stuff kind of grouped in here. So if you change this to a skinny shaker door, it's going to update the cost. And then if we say we're going, um, we got three hinges are calculated because it's 45. So if you go 18 inches, it's going to reduce the cost to two hinges per that door times two doors. So four door hinges. So we just, everything kind of calculates on our side to give us a full total. So we can just drop their quantity, width, and height right here and then update our profile. And then you can even do, say you want a bunch of the same door, we can just copy and paste it out and that'll give her our profiles. But we're going to go back to what I'm going to include with this video. Um, this is basically tables that breaks down. The most important thing is that when you go into Mosaic and you drag a door over, you double click this, the name of that door is subassembly door. So that's a static, unless you change something, that's going to be a static subassembly door. And then what we're looking at is your door style and cutout. So your subassembly door is your name. Your library has to come from your door library right here. So where that door library name comes from is your library doors, and it's whatever you pick your door library, however you name it. If you have a space, if you have anything in here, it has to be typed 100% or things do not work. Same with our door styles. So if you go back to here, we can see our door style, shaker glass. These are based off of these names and they have to match 100%. If not, it will not call the door up and you'll have an error when you import. And you have your width, your height. And if you want, on ours, we have this. Let's see. So you can move things around if you want to see your cut, your quantity and all that, your width and height together versus moving things around. So you can do that, and you can also insert a part here. You have to insert that way. That way it stays in the table. You can delete it. If you don't have this many doors, you can delete back. So the next step we have to do to be able to import this information into Mozaik, and like us, you have to go to your source code, and then you have to do XML maps. Now we're going to delete this one just to show you from the beginning. We'll step back one space. If you do not have developer option, you have to go to, in Excel, you have to go to File, Options, Customize ribbon, and turn developer on or off. If you do not do that, you cannot go into this mode for your source, your import and export. So now that you got developer mode, we need to source and map out these columns to how Mozaik calls for it. So if I go to source, we're going to delete this map and we're going to add a new one. Just so I'm going to include this file too. It's going to be a XML source. So what this does is this creates the mapping for these. You can do it in Notepad. You can do it. There's a couple ways to create an XML data tree um, to be able to go from there. So now that we have that, now we have to map these columns so Mozaik knows where they go. So we're going to go to name. We're going to drag name to name. We're going to drag library to library. Quantity, since I moved quantity, it's over here now. So quantity goes there. Door style. Our width. Height. Now, profile one, if you look at Mozaik, it says profile 1, 2, 3. If you right click this and go to section, outside edge is your profile 1. Routed tools is your profile 2. And pocketing tools is your profile 3. We named ours just so easier, so it says inside, outside, pocket, but you have to map profile 1 to that outside edge, profile 2 to the inside edge, profile 3 to your pocket tool, your material, your hinge, and your notes if you want your notes. So if we want to say a left hinge here, a right hinge here, I was just playing with things around in here for a quick demo, just so there's information to populate. So now that we have that mapped out properly in our source, we can hit export. So we're going to export this into a file name of test88. We're going to export it into an XML file. So we're going to come into Mozaik and go to import order form. So you have to go to the folder. I had it in C Mozaik just for this purpose. We go to XML files and we go to our test 8888. So see how we have to the left, right, top, notes, everything populates. If you type something wrong in your setup there, it will not work. So I'm going to delete this and just kind of show you. We're going to delete a quantity out of this. So now we have a 0 quantity on this, or we didn't put a quantity. We'll get an error now. So if we export this, and we're going to replace it, and we'll come in here to import files, XML files. See, it can't populate it because it's missing a quantity. So we have nothing. So you have to be cautious and pay attention that if you have something, you may have to make sure you have a quantity. You have to have your name, your library, and your door style and quantity all together, or things will not populate properly. So if we deleted our profile tools. Let's just do a test here. We'll export this one. This is Shaker Door. Notes is one. So we'll export that. Go to Mosaic, import that file. Same file name, just because we're doing a test. So notes one, it does not, it did not calculate what we had, so it put a default, what we have as a default for Shaker Door. So it will populate this, but if you do not have your door style and you do not have your library subassembly and a quantity and width and height, if these files are not filled out, it will not populate your door and you'll get an error. So you have to make sure. So if we're only doing 8 doors out of this list, you have to come through and delete these doors. So you have to select it, right click, and delete over here. You can't just delete the information because the table will populate empty files. So you hit delete. Now our table is shorter. So we'll export this table now, same way. And now we'll select all this, delete it, and then we're going to bring that same file back in. See how we have a lot less doors is because we shortened our table. So we can change the name of these as long as they're the names of these match something it's calling for. So see, I have a shaker glass because we were calling for shaker glass in one of these, shaker glass. So anything you change in here will affect what pulls up in your import order files. So that's the most crucial thing is just setting, opening this spreadsheet and then source filing. Once this spreadsheet is set up, you can copy and say someone gives us an order, even we send this out basically. I don't want to go in detail how we send out and do that for people to import this, but if the very basic, if you don't want people messing with this part and you have to go through it, you can have them um, put something as simple as this right here. Give you a cut list, length, width, height, and quantity here. And so we can just select the set quantity here, copy it, and paste it. There we go. And now we can export this into Mosaic. Of course, you'd want to change your door styles to how you want everything to be. And then we go to Mosaic, delete all these, and we'll see the length and width and height of everything change. So now we have the quantities, the widths and heights all match. So that's the way you can do that. Now, if you want to import cabinet products, it's a very similar deal, but you have to set up your library a little bit different on your Excel spreadsheet. So we're going to delete all these, and then we're going to do a quick cabinet door. So we're going to open up another sheet. I already have it kind of set up. I'll share. Let's see. I'll share this one with you, and I'll also share. Um, so this one will be the one I'll probably share with you because I'll leave you a breakdown of how to do cabinet orders as well. So the same thing, we have to map our cabinet door order. So to find the mapping to set um, your information in here, we're gonna go to XML maps, and this is order map one. We're gonna delete this just to get it out of the way. And then what we want to do is we're gonna add one. And then in C Mosaic, you also have a sample cabinet order, but I'm going to include this one because it's already in an XML format we created for it. So we're going to open in a saw cabinet order, and we're going to open that. So yes, okay. So map order two. So now we have product. So we need a quantity to map there. And then we need to do the same thing, quantity, name, library, depth. So now that this is all exported in, you can see they're highlighted, and just drag and drop. It should populate properly on the Excel spreadsheet. If not, pull the source file and copy these files over just like that. And then your quantity is self-explanatory. Your base cabinet, where this pulls from. So if I export this in our developer, we export this file, and this can be test. We'll do 5555 or something, or so we go to Mosaic, we go to products, we import, and we're going to go back to XML file, cabinet import test. So what you're seeing there, you have your, it's calling base cabinet. You have to make sure your base cabinet is tied to base cabinet. And your library is this right here. When you go to libraries products, the name of that library right there is the crucial part to understanding how this works. If this is not typed correctly, it will not pull a file. So if I say I mistype it right there, and then this is going to say I mistyped something here, it's going to give me errors when I export this. It has to be, everything has to be typed correctly and mapped out correctly, or it will not work. So delete this, import the same file. Couldn't find that, couldn't find that. The only one that was typed correctly was this, so it found it. Just so you know, you can kind of get information stored if you want to set up a quick order from people and be able to calculate it through a spreadsheet. You can do it and import, but you have to map it through an XML source, and you have to be able to create those. So I'll include this basic document that has both door order information and the sheet 3. You have to set up your developer mode, and you modify these to fit exactly the way that your naming scheme is. So what I did to make it easy, there's a couple ways you can screenshot this and put it on there as you type it, or if you go into Mosaic and you go to your library's doors, and you can go say your routed doors, you can hit copy here, and then what I did is I just highlight copy that name, and then you go to your Excel spreadsheet, and then you can paste it. Boom. And it works. So there's ways to do it so you don't have to type it. Just don't save it when you copy it. That way, if you have any weird, we need to update some of ours because some of the stuff's uppercase, some's lowercase, and then our glass has two spaces right here. So I got to fix a bunch of little things from setting up years ago, and we're cleaning everything up. But anyhow, if you got any questions, just let me know. Like I said, there's other sources out there that can do this service for you. But if you're like me and already kind of are great with Excel and you have most of this information already set up, you can just link it and send that over to people and import it. We can go from a quick order entry from somebody from a drop down like this. So we copy and paste, and then we export it. Like I said, we can get this order entry here right here, and we copy this over, paste it there, and then export it. We'll do NSL 75. That works for me. Okay. And we come over here, import Look for SL 75. Open it. We got those. Then from there, all we have to do is cut list, optimize. We're going to do our order entry. And since we have cabinets in there, I only want to do our doors. We'll optimize. And then G code. We're ready for cutting. As long as all your stuff's set up, you can get all your details and quick to break the G code. So anyhow, there you go. There's a breakdown of how to do an order import through Excel spreadsheet. Let me know if you have any questions.